So in my opinion, one of the easiest, he says that having 15 years experience, one of the easiest ways that you can make money is by designing websites for other businesses. And I think, first of all, you have to understand HTML, you have to understand basic design, you have to understand how to make a website or a WordPress site and use plugins. I mean, there's a lot to learn. And over the last 15 years, it's changed a lot. But as you're traveling, one of my experiences has been most people outside of North America and Europe, or certainly the developed parts of Europe, have no clue about websites. They have a bad website, and so when you talk to them and you meet them, uh, it's pretty easy for you to redesign their site. And because it's a talent and a skill that not a lot of people locally have, as you're traveling around the world, you're able to take advantage of that. And as I was in Western Greece, I was introduced to the owner of a hotel, and he was very interested in the fact that I knew how to make websites. I took a look at his website; it was terrible, and in a week I had knocked off a great WordPress template, turned it into his site, and he was thrilled, and you know, paid me a nice little fee for it. So one of the things that you really want to take a look at in terms, particularly if you're starting out, is do you like making websites? Do you think you can handle WordPress or any of the other uh, content management systems out there? And if the answer is yes, and if you like art, then take a look at building websites and doing graphic design as you're traveling. Once you've decided you want to do some of these types of skills, then you can go to some place like Upwork uh, or Fiverr, freelancer.com, and you can post up your profile there and you can start generating some business. And I really strongly recommend that you focus on certain areas, like like in Vancouver, I was really surprised. There was a designer who focused only on yoga. I shouldn't say he focused only on yoga, but he focused a lot on yoga. And the result was that a lot of the major yoga studios used him. And so he had this template that he could then make changes to so it looked unique. And he just went around to all the yoga studios, said, look, this is what all your competition is doing. You should have a website too. This is what this one does. He had obviously spent some time finding out what yoga studios needed in terms of functionality, and he put it all together. So if you're looking for, um, if you're looking for a niche as a digital nomad, then an obvious one would be hotels, hostels, motels, bread and breakfast, and all the rest of it. Because what are you doing? You're staying there, and it may end up that it may be that you end up trading, a website for 2 weeks accommodation or something like that. That would work out really good too. So I mean, there's different ways that you could use it, but I would suggest strongly that you focus on a niche, focus on an area that you're interested in and that you can get really good at, because you understand then the customer, you understand the owner, and they all have the same sort of problems, right? And then as you're traveling around, you can talk to these people and say, oh, I've done 15 websites for yoga studios. I noticed you have a website, but when was the last, how does it work for you? When was the last time you used it? You sort of ask these leading questions. You get them complaining about the website, and then you say, well, the guy, I did a website for someone in Rome who was a yoga instructor, and this is what happened for them, and maybe the same thing will happen for you. So you want to find areas of interest, because you can, and then what happens, of course, is they recommend you to their friends, so you end up doing websites that are not, in this case, yoga related, which is great, and it keeps you busy. And it's something that I'm really noticing as I'm traveling, that people outside of North America and Europe, uh, they need a lot of help with, and they're not getting very good help with it. So it's a great area to learn and to expand your business in.
So Scott, I know you're an expert in this area. What would you say you need from your clients in terms of proper web design? Because I find a lot of people don't know what they want in a website. They just say, create a website for me, do it, do it, do it. These are the tabs, do it. But you actually need more than that, right? So tell us what you need, and other web designers, what should they get from the actual clients when they're purchasing or hiring you to build a site for them?
Well, I think you're right. The first thing you need is a very clear idea of what you're creating. Are you creating a 5-page website or a 55-page website? And oftentimes it's very easy for the client to move the goalposts. So you have to be very clear. This is what the project is. Do you agree? Yes. If you want to add anything to it, there's going to be extra costs involved. Do you agree with that? Yes. Send them an email after every conversation summarizing the email, so you can go back and you can say, well, we talked about this. It was a 5-page site. You now want 10 pages. It is going to be more money. Yes, I understand that. Okay, here's how much more money, and kind of go from there. You really have to have an understanding of design, what type of design that they want. Also their industry, what type of design is popular in their industry. Also, what colors do they want? Do you want this color? Do you want that color? And then oftentimes what I'll do is I'll look for 4 or 5 or 6 sites that I think look good in their industry or other industries and say, what do you think of these sites? And then you kind of go from there. Oftentimes with web design, what you think looks good, what they think look good is not necessarily the same thing. So you have to be very confident in what you're presenting, because they're going to say, well, I want this moved over here. No, no, no. These are all standard ways that we're doing it because it works. And so you want to make sure that you don't have the your customer, the tail wagging the dog, because that's a very simple thing, a very easy thing to have happen.
Yeah, and I think it's important to differentiate what is included, what's not, because sometimes people might want a logo, they might want all the graphics done, they might want to have the social media graphics done too, they might want to have the email opt-in box, they might want to have it pop up. So I don't know if you include all of those. Is it a full package deal, or do you just say it's a website design only? You're on your own with the social media links, with the email opt-in, with all the other elements that is kind of connected to website design?
I look at them all as upsells. My first goal is to get a website up and running that's functional and does what they need it to do. The next thing is, well, now that it's done, Ricky, have you thought about your Facebook page? Have you thought about your YouTube channel? Oh, no YouTube channel? Are you crazy? You need a YouTube channel. You're whatever you are, right? So that's basically what I expect is that once I've developed the site for the customer, my client becomes a lifelong client. I look after all the updates, I look after all the problems, so they don't have to worry about any of those things. And then, but what else do they need? Well, you need some traffic. Have you thought about Facebook ads? Have you thought about, AdWords? Do you want to do, so you end up becoming their marketing consultant and doing a lot more with them. And of course, if you don't have the skills, that's when you start creating a team. Well, here's someone that's going to look after your YouTube channel. Here's someone that's going to look after your Twitter account. Here's someone to look after this, look after that. Because again, as we said when we were talking about video courses, people are good at what they do, and what they do is not website design or social media marketing. So you want it, you've now got the in, they love you because you've created this great site. Now you want to take them to the next level. And that just means ongoing income for you.
Absolutely. So for people who want to get started as website designers, where should they start? Should they create their own website to promote themselves as a web designer? Should they take some course online? Or should they just start building sites?
Where I would start is I would go to wordpress.org or wordpress.com. I always forget which one is which. And I would set up my own WordPress site. And I would just play around with WordPress. It's the most popular website builder out there right now. And I would just learn it and start creating my own site. I would take a course on it. There's lots of good courses on Udemy on website design, and learn. And then I started looking at sites that I visit better, more closely to see how they design everything. And then I do a couple free ones for my friends, and because that gives you the experience, and then I would start charging. But you have to be able to do it. So yeah, you'd want to do your own site first. Unless you're really, really busy like I am, in which case my site is the worst. The cobbler's children have no shoes, It's like my websites get looked at last, which is usually never. All right, so that's a little bit about website and graphic design. In our next lecture, we're going to talk about social media marketing, because that's basically the upsell for your website.